the Instagram one was not working. It kept going, the video kept getting too small, and it was widescreen, and it was really weird. So, I hope this video is vertical for you on Instagram. I hope it's not widescreen anymore, because that's what we're going for. And I also hope you can hear me and that the audio is not repeating itself, because that was another issue we were having. Yeah. Well, assuming that all is well, let me actually just watch this on Instagram to make sure it's normal. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Oh, I wonder if I could stream to X. That'd be cool. Maybe that's probably a verified member perk. Yeah, guys, let me know if the Instagram video is normal looking. If there's anything weird about it, just say so, because I'll fix it. Let's see. Media, la-di-da. Yeah, I bet going live is probably a perk on X. Alright, well. Oh, I didn't even... I was gonna check this from another account to make sure it looks normal. Awesome. Looks normal. Oh, I didn't even... Oh, and it sounds normal. This is amazing. Okay. Glad we figured that out. Okay, so I'll kind of just start from the top. I am just kind of revisiting the town hall topic again, because more and more information is coming out about it, and kind of just solidifying what we initially thought, I believe. But, you know, the story is kind of growing and taking on a life of its own, and there is a lot of opportunity for misinformation, our favorite word. Misinformation is a real issue, because if people just start spreading rumors, that does some damage to our reputations as conservatives and as people of Coeur d'Alene. So I think it's really important to know how to combat these narratives that we're hearing about our city, or about free speech, or whatever it is. So there's I've compiled a little list of different, I don't know if I want to call them fallacies, different myths, different false claims that are being spread about the town hall incident. And actually, I kind of wanted to read the GoFundMe. So, Teresa Borenpaul's GoFundMe is up to $330,000. I think it's been going for 9 days. They started it just a couple days after the incident. So, that's some big money. And there are some theories floating around, and this is just speculation, but there are some theories floating around that perhaps she was paid to do this, because apparently this is happening in other places as well. And there are some, there's an image floating around about a couple of people who are organizers of these sorts of disruptions. Yeah, so I haven't looked into this at all. This could be just straight up conspiracy, but, I don't know if you guys have seen that picture floating around. And then today, someone suggested that perhaps George Soros is funding a local organization, a more local organization that has to do with, grassroots, liberal activism. So, it's very possible that she knew that she was going to be compensated for doing this. And actually, I just saw some video footage today that kind of, I don't know, she just seemed really confident. She was talking to the sheriff. She's like, "You don't want to do this. Like, you don't want to remove me from this town hall," as if she had a sense of what was going to happen if they did. So this is just speculation. There's going to be a lawsuit, and I don't want to be involved in the lawsuit, so don't sue me, but yeah, this is just commentary and opinion about some crazy things happening. Am I live on YouTube? I forgot to check. I think I am. Oh yeah. Nice. So let me bring back, where did I just put that thing? Oh yeah, so the GoFundMe page. If you want to look it up, just look up Justice for Dr. Teresa Borenpal, Fight for the First on GoFundMe. They just updated their goal to $500,000 because originally it was $50,000, but they've surpassed that. So they have decided to shoot for the moon. Battery low. My earbuds are low. That's not great. Might need to switch. But anyways. Okay, so I'm gonna read the claims. Actually, it doesn't even matter if I'm wearing earbuds, because I'm not even listening to myself. Cool. Well, these are useless. I'm just gonna take these out. Okay, so, this is the description of the GoFundMe, and it's kind of like, it's just kind of laying out the claims, painting it in their own light. Yeah, here's what they say went down on February 22nd. Okay, on Saturday, February 22nd, citizens gathered at a town hall in Kootenai County, Idaho to speak with elected members of the Idaho legislature about important issues affecting their community. What should have been a peaceful and productive event where people exercised their right to voice their concerns quickly turned into a violation of Dr. Teresa Borenpal's constitutional rights. That is so true. It should have been a peaceful and productive event. It should have. I wonder who disrupted it. In a shocking and unlawful turn of events, Dr. Borenpal was detained by unmarked paramilitary squad, an unknown and unnamed group of individuals with no clear authority or justification for their actions. That's a big lie. So first of all, there is video evidence that they announced the presence of the security team at the beginning of the event because there was a bomb threat against one of the legislators. So everyone there should have known. Actually, though, I just saw some footage today that showed that Teresa walked in late. So she might not have heard any of the announcements, which would be really unfortunate if she's like, if her whole case is based on the fact that she wasn't there for the announcements, that this was a private event, that there was security present, that disruptors would be asked to leave. They made it all very clear at the beginning, but she might not have been there to hear it. So that's an interesting thought. So they were not unknown and unnamed. They were pointed out at the beginning. They're very obviously standing around the perimeter of the room, according to video evidence. They did have, I think they had the authority and justification for their actions because the sheriff was directing them to do that. I think he was just taking advantage of the resources available to him instead of calling in backup. It's like there was already a security team there, why not use them? Whether that's legal, I don't know. So reading on, what's even more alarming is that the local sheriff, who, instead of protecting Dr. Borenpal, stood by and filmed the incident on his phone after encouraging her violent removal. Okay. I'm glad that he didn't protect her. That's a great clip to take out of context right there. But I'm glad that he removed her because she was being disruptive. They gave her like 7 chances. There's a count. There's a video with a count of how many times they had to ask her to quiet down. And she just kept going. And he filmed it so that he could have evidence of what she was doing. It's not like he was like recording it like, oh, haha, this is so funny. It's because he knew he was going to need the evidence. He's normally wearing a body cam. And so I think he just wasn't wearing his body cam. Yeah. I'm sure they teach him to do that too. Violent removal. She was resisting arrest, so gotta do what you gotta do. The detainment wasn't just an unfortunate moment. It was an illegal violation of Dr. Borenpol's rights. She was denied her freedom of assembly, her freedom of speech, and most importantly, her right to be free from unlawful detention. This is not just an isolated event, this is a chilling reminder that even in the United States, our civil liberties can be stripped away without warning. Very scary. I'm convinced that it was not illegal because they did announce that this was actually a private event. The events the Republican Party hosts are typically private, if not always private. So the thing is, they're dealing with public matters, like they're having public officials come and speak about public issues, and these people were elected by the public, and so they're trying to facilitate access to the legislators. But at the same time, who's paying for it? It's not your tax dollars, if I have that correct. It's the party. It's the Republican donors. And so this is not a free-for-all. It's not the same thing as going to a city council meeting where it's being hosted on public property regarding very public, nonpartisan matters. It's just different. And the party knows that. And I think they deal with this kind of thing a lot. They know their rights. And they did make the announcement that it was private. And yet she's spreading the rumor that her constitutional freedoms were violated, which just is not true. I don't know if I already gave my disclaimer in this version of the live stream. I had to cut it off earlier and reset, but this is all just speculation and opinion because there's going to be a lawsuit, and I don't want to be implicated in the lawsuit. So whatever I'm saying today, this is just thoughts. This is free speech right here. I'm on a public platform, and I've got every right to do so. Facebook. Okay. In the video, the sheriff said, "Leave or be arrested." And then she refused to leave. And so she got arrested. It's as simple as that. So she's like, I want to be free from unlawful detention, but you were trespassing. And see, the thing is, there are going to be a lot of people trying to rewrite history on this matter. They're going to try and say, oh, no, that didn't happen. Yes, it did. Yes, it sure did. I don't care if the Coeur d'Alene police chief dropped the charges. No disrespect to our boys in blue. But, I don't think that was the right call. So, she's now taking a stand to ensure that this injustice does not go unchecked. She's committed to holding those responsible accountable and fighting for the protection of our fundamental rights. But to do so, she needs your help to do so. So these funds are for legal costs, and she's trying to retain a skilled lawyer. And no American should fear being carted away by an unnamed paramilitary force without cause. There was cause. Whatever. The protection of our freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and the right to be free from unlawful detention, which is the Fourth Amendment. And I think there's a different way to say that. What is the Fourth Amendment? Unreasonable search and seizure. So if she was gonna go for the constitutional language, she should have just continued with unreasonable seizure, because the seizure was the arrest portion of that situation. Dr. Borenpol is not just fighting for herself, she's fighting for every one of us. So brave. So brave. Okay, so those are the claims that she's making about what went down, and video evidence refutes all of this very easily. So this is going to be an interesting case, because on the surface, it shouldn't even be a case, but, I don't know. I don't know what the play is going to be. I don't know what they're going to be able to get out of this for themselves, but they're going to try. So, I went on Sheriff Norris's Instagram page because someone sent out the bat signal and told all the Democrats to go and bombard him with hateful comments. And you know they're Democrats because they're talking about how he's oppressing women and how he's a misogynist and a fascist, and they also are saying how they hate Trump, so, like, it's obvious they're Democrats. And they're not from around here, because we don't have that many Democrats around here. But, so, what was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, so everyone's leaving all these crazy comments. I went through and I kind of picked out the themes of the comments, and I don't know where they're getting their information, but they're getting it from someone who got it wrong. So they keep saying that she is an innocent woman, that they dragged away an innocent woman, but she was not innocent. She was very obviously disrupting the meeting. She was asked to calm down and asked to stop, and she didn't, and she was asked to leave, and she didn't, and so that's why they had to drag her out. Now, as far as the dragging out goes, I understand that it looks bad. It looks bad. But that's how a lot of arrests go. I mean, like, if they just won't move, you have to carry them. And they probably could have picked her all the way up off the floor, but I don't know. So anyways, they're saying that she's innocent on Sheriff Norris's Instagram, and I'm like, okay guys, where did you get that? They're also really highlighting the fact that she's a woman. So they're trying to play on her, they're trying to appeal to her vulnerabilities. Which, yes, she's a woman, but if she's not behaving, then you don't really get special treatment. I think that's what they want. I think they want special treatment because she's a woman. And they're just trying to, of course, further the narrative that Republicans hate women and all that kind of stuff. So everyone was saying, like, it's a bunch of men. Yeah, they're really trying to push that dynamic between the men dragging a woman out. And, I mean, generally, I would agree that that logic is very sound. Like, guys don't hit girls, you know? Like, it's dishonorable to hit a woman. But, if the woman won't leave and she's yelling and she has a history of being a little crazy, then I think it's perfectly okay to, I don't know, get a little rougher. She wasn't cooperating. At any point, she could have cooperated, but she did not. So they're also saying that she was assaulted, which she decided that she was being assaulted. I don't think that that's fact. Because even when the sheriff first, took hold of her arm to try to remove her because he said that she was going to be arrested, she's like, "Oh, you're assaulting me." Yeah, there's a difference between assault and arrest. Big difference. And, in the same vein, they're also talking about, everyone is bringing up The Handmaid's Tale. Also, I don't know if you guys know about this, but I think this last summer in Sandpoint, they were having some sort of a Handmaid's Tale parade. Maybe it was in their 4th of July parade. There was some sort of, a protest where all these people were wearing their red gowns, and it was probably in protest of Trump, I don't know, but, yeah, they're just very, very concerned that there are misogynists in charge, and that's just not happening. It's not all women who get thrown out of meetings. It's only disruptive women and men. It's just people. It's not a woman thing. Yeah. And, okay, I was gonna say this a little later, but I'll just say it now. They're acting as though there was no other way to reach their legislators about these issues, which is just not true either. Our legislators are extremely accessible. I don't know if you guys know this or if you've ever tried to contact them. Dude, they'll give you their phone number. And they go to all these public meetings. They were completely accessible until she was being disruptive. That's the only reason why she wasn't able to talk to them afterwards and have a conversation. Jordan Redmond said this the other day on the Idaho Signal. He's like, "I will talk to anyone." And I was there afterwards answering questions and talking to people. And they talk to people who they agree with and who they disagree with. Because even among the Republicans, you have disagreements. It's not like we're all on the same page. So, it's not like our legislators are completely inaccessible and it's not like the Democrats are oppressed, They're not winning because this is a predominantly Republican area, but they can still reach out and have conversations if they actually wanted to, but they don't seem interested in doing that, at least these ones. Obviously, they weren't interested in reaching out one-on-one. They just brought their signs and stuff. But yeah. The legislators are completely available. It's not like this closed door thing. It's not as exclusive as they're trying to make it out to be. Because, yeah. Obviously, the Democrats wouldn't have voted for any of our Republican legislators, and Kootenai County has all Republican legislators, so I can understand the frustration. But, you can still contact them. They want to hear from you. It's no secret. Let's see. So, people are also really hammering in the point that the security team was unidentified and refusing to identify themselves and stuff like that. But first of all, the KCRCC made an announcement at the beginning about who these guys were. So there's some of your identification. Second of all, I just saw a video clip today where one of them did identify themselves. He said, "I'm the event security." And she's like, "Who are you?" And he told her. So it wasn't like this mysterious thing where they like threw a bag over her head and like took her to a basement and interrogated her and stuff like that. That's what they're making it out to be. But this was in broad daylight. There are so many witnesses who can attest to what actually went down. And on the point of the security, if there is anything that they did wrong that needs to come to light, I'm all for that. I'm not trying to like protect them, but I'm just trying to use common sense here. And, you know, it's really hard to follow every little rule. And I don't know. Yeah, they said they were violently dragging her out. That's only because she was violently resisting arrest. She bit a dude. Okay, and so everyone's saying that her First Amendment rights were violated. This was always so weird to me when the left tries to claim the Constitution as though they've ever read it. Because it's not... I truly believe that most of them have never read it or tried to study it for themselves. They just hear a certain phrase and they repeat it because it suits them. And Republicans are guilty of this too. The right is guilty of this too. Less so, though, because you tend to have more people who actually want to know the truth and who actually do the research or who become constitutional scholars. Like, are there any Democratic constitutional scholars who actually understand the document? I don't know. Be an interesting question. So, the First Amendment rights thing, I mean, you can't just say whatever you want at any time, especially not at a private event. That's the main thing. That's the main reason why she wasn't allowed to do that. It's because they were trying to maintain order, and you can't just do whatever you want. Yeah, so I kind of keep landing on this point in particular because I really think that this is something that conservatives might fall for. They might hear that someone's First Amendment rights are being violated and go, oh, well, we don't want anyone's First Amendment rights to be violated, so we need to protect her or accommodate her or something like that. But it's just a ploy to get us to allow Democrats to disrupt every future Republican meeting, I think. Because if we don't understand the distinction between private and public, and if we don't know how to articulate where your First Amendment rights are, where you can freely exercise them or not, then we're gonna give in to every claim that First Amendment rights are being violated. So, yeah, that's the thing. Because the First Amendment doesn't extend into illegal activity. So if you're being disruptive, or if you're, I don't know if resisting arrest is a good example. Because sometimes peaceful protesters get arrested for no good reason. I mean, still not a good idea to resist arrest, but anyhow. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, if a Republican was being disruptive. That's the thing. We do have Republicans being disruptive, and they do get asked to leave or settle down. But the difference is that they do leave or settle down. usually. I'm sure there have been lots of times where no one left and no one settled down, but we should have done something then. It's not okay to just let them go on and ruin the meeting for everybody else. And what is the word for that? Just be disorderly. Active. Yeah. If a Republican was being disruptive in a Democrat meeting, it would be called an act of hate speech. Yep. That's a great point. Yeah, always good to look through it. Look at it through that lens. What would they be saying about us? Because that helps to just kind of even out our perspective on the situation. Like, whatever the rule is, we want it to apply fairly to both sides. We don't want one side to be favored over the other. Unless it's coming to the point where one side favors law and the other side does not favor law at all. The other side just wants to do illegal stuff. That's the only reason why this starts to get a little blurry. It's because the left doesn't like the law. Yeah. So, here's the thing. I started studying the word inclusion. Because that's kind of the theme that they have settled on. Like, if we're not including the Democrats in the Republican town halls, that somehow that's a violation of First Amendment rights, or it's just not right in general. But the thing is, I was looking at the meaning of the word include, and to include is to contain something. So it gave the example of like a clam with a pearl inside. The pearl is included in the shell. And so if you're going to include somebody in something, it's like you bring them into it, but there's still a boundary. You can't include everybody in everything. So it's kind of mind-boggling to think about that to be inclusive, you also have to be exclusive. Because not everyone is going to be inside the fence, inside the boundary. So, just the definition of that word made me think of this whole situation with the town hall and realized that it's very similar to the border issue. Because this is another kind of a high level concept, but one of the goals of Marxism is to blur distinctions between any two things, like male and female, for example. They don't want you to know that there's a difference. They want it to be confusing so that you don't know the boundaries. You don't know right from wrong, and you don't know male from female, or up from down, or left from right. So that's a theme that you'll find a lot in the world today. The border is a prime example because people don't want to admit that America is its own country. They want it to be like, they just want everybody to have everything. They don't want there to be a border. They don't want there to be a boundary. So it's, where was I going to go with that? It's kind of the same thing with this town hall meeting because they don't want there to be a boundary between what is proper free speech and what is not. And they don't want there to be a boundary between what is lawful and what is illegal. So it's very interesting. It's just one of those mind games that they play. I don't even know if they know that they're playing it. But, occlude. Is that a word? that is a word. To cause to become closed. Oh. Yeah. Clued. Exclusive. Yeah. Let me look at my notes on the include thing because it was interesting. Oh, that's right. Well, so I think I also said on my stories the other day that this was almost a private property issue. Like a property rights issue. Because since the KCRCC had private control of the high school for that event, it was technically their property. You know, like they rented it. So they had authority over the property. They had the right to manage the property, I should say. So, where did that take me? Oh yeah, property is the exclusive right of possessing, enjoying, and disposing of a thing or ownership. So, exclusive, and that's what led me to exclude, and that's what led me to include. So, that's the thing. See, property is exclusive, whereas something like DEI is trying to be inclusive. They're trying to chip away at any property or ownership or distinction between any two different things. It's really weird. Property. And I mean, in the word property is the word proper, which means peculiar. And peculiar means particular. I heard the word peculiar in Alice in Wonderland growing up, and I thought it meant strange, but it doesn't. It means specific. Like, my eyebrow raising is it's a quality very peculiar to me. That's a good example of that. Proper. So proper means peculiar, naturally or essentially belonging to a person or thing, not common. So it's like, I don't know, I never really heard this definition of the word proper before. Where, like, because I talk about the proper role of government a lot. And so proper means that it can only belong to one. Sort of. It's not common to all. It's something that is exclusive. Something that is proper is exclusive. But it can also mean, like, correct. So, I mean, that's another aspect of that word. But, yeah. And then, so, include means to confine within, to hold, contain. Confine means to bound or limit, restrain, imprison. See, they were including her just fine. To hold, to have capacity, etc. So, exclusive or exclude means to thrust out or reject, or to hinder from entering, to shut out, to debar, to hinder from participation or enjoyment. Debarring from participation, possessed and enjoyed to the exclusion of others, like an exclusive privilege. So, I don't know, I was just having a lot of thoughts about those words and how they relate to communism. It's just really weird to understand the foundations of communism because you start to see it everywhere. And I think that's why people kind of maybe get into the habit of calling people communists a lot. Because the practices of communism are everywhere. They're very pervasive. But the difference between a communist and, I don't know, I feel like there's a difference between a real communist and someone who just kind of fell into the trap and doesn't even know what they're doing. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to call people communists unless they know what they're doing and they're doing it on purpose. Because communism is everywhere. It's weird. But yeah, attempting to blur boundaries. Yeah, if there aren't rules around free speech, then it turns into a free-for-all, and it becomes chaotic, and that's not good. It's just not. How long have I been going here? 40 minutes? Nice. That's a long time. Yep. Exclusive. Yeah, because the definition of exclusive or property or something, it keeps saying not common. And guess what communism has in it? The word common, sort of. Common means belonging equally to more than one, or to many indefinitely, as life and sense are common to man and beast. Common privileges, belonging to the public, having no separate owner. Universal, belonging to all. Usual, ordinary, of no rank or superior excellence as a common man. So, yeah. It's really important to remember that there's a distinction between what is proper and what is common. Property and what is the opposite of property? I think I had written that down. Oh yeah, so common, communism, and proprietary property are at odds with each other. Yep. Well, I think I've come to the end of my notes here. Let me just give it one last look. Where did I even put those things? Oh no, they're gone. Common doesn't necessarily mean normal. That's true. Yeah, you can definitely apply the word common to things that are not normal at all, but that are pervasive. Like the lack of common sense. It's not really normal to have common sense these days. Unfortunately. I don't know where I put my dang notes. Oh, there they are. Yeah, I think I kind of made all the points I wanted to make. I mean, in closing, I guess I could just say that Trump posted about incidents such as ours today. He said that people are going around disrupting town hall meetings. Maybe I said this at the beginning, but I'm glad he knows it's happening. That's kind of reassuring. And if you want all of the information on this issue, go to the KCRCC's Twitter, because they are doing the work and not in the anti-whiteness training kind of way. Yeah, they're posting all sorts of information. They're posting videos, they're posting statements, they're posting like facts, like who the security guys were, why the sheriff was there, what he was doing there. They're clearing the air as much as they can. And they've been digging into who was perhaps behind this as well. So, really great stuff over there. I've been seeing those posts come through my feed and I'm like, oh my gosh, some answers. So, yeah, definitely check out the KCRCC Twitter, X, if you want to. Unfortunately, the DEI folks use sensationalism and emotion, not logical arguments. You disagree with a given DEI policy, you must hate, including people different than you. You hate equality. Yeah, it's crazy. Yep, I've been doing a lot of digging into DEI, and you'll probably see something from me about that soon. Hint, hint. Yeah, I started studying the words diversity and equity and inclusion, and they mean the exact opposite of what they're trying to use them for. So, I'm gonna have to do another live stream on that. It's a whole other topic. I need to finish the study on equity, and then I'll be ready to go. But diversity has been a trip. Quite a trip. It's just crazy how reading the dictionary can solve all your problems. So, thanks for watching, guys. This was fun, and I appreciate you commenting. Makes it much less lonely. And yeah, I think I'll call it good. Hope you enjoyed, and we will talk again soon.